Good evening, Garden City. I'd like to call to order a regular city council meeting on Monday, April 3rd, 2023 at 7 p.m. Our first order of business will be our opening ceremony, which will consist of the national anthem, followed by Julie Galdes leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then a moment of silence for those veterans that sacrificed their life. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Mr. Miller, if you'd take roll, please.
Mayor Jacobs.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Present.
Councilmember Karafotis.
Here.
Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember Earl.
Here.
Councilmember Witt.
Here.
Councilmember Lynch.
Here.
You do have a full quorum with 7 members present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Item 4, approval of the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Any discussion from council? From general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Don't have 5, no recognitions. State or county officials, I do not see any. No presentations. Item 9, community events. We do have one coming up, actually 2. First one is the Easter egg hunt. Parks and Recreation is hosting this Saturday, April 8th at 9 o'clock a.m. at Garden City Park. It's on the ball fields, and it'll be for kids ages 0 to 10. There will be over 12,000 eggs between the 3 different age groups. And bonus prizes are available for those that find the lucky eggs. Plus, there will be a special visit from the Easter Bunny. So we hope to see everybody there this Saturday at Garden City Park, 9 a.m. And next, I believe we have Miss Jackie Peridor with another community event.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm here for the GCBA. I'm reminding everybody about Music in the Park this summer. We have 3 different dates, June 15th, and the band for that is going to be like Radio Classics. It's St. John Smith. They're a repeat band. Everybody loves them. On July 20th, we have a new band. They're called the Weekend Comeback Band, and they're going to do like oldies, Motown, that kind of music. And then on August 17th, we're going to have American Ages Band, which we did have last year. That's like Southern rock, country kind of vibe. So we've got 3 different types of music for the different days. This year, we're going to extend the vendor hours. So the vendors will be open at 4 o'clock, and they'll be there all the way through, and then the music will actually start at 6:30. So I did bring these postcards. They're sitting over there if anybody wants to pick one up before they leave. They're save the date kind of thing. We're in the process of getting our sponsors and things, but we're also looking for vendors. And the one thing that we like to do is offer free space for any local nonprofit to have a 10 by 10 space to fundraise, to do whatever they need to do. So we offer that as a community service. So the music starts at 6:30, everything's over at 9, and we hope to see a whole bunch of people. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Okay, no petitions or communications. Item 11, public hearings. We have one on the 5-year capital improvement plan. Mr. Doherty.
Thank you, Mayor. This is something we do annually. It starts out as a public hearing, give people an opportunity to state any case or interest they have in the list. Basically, what you have before you is similar to what was received by the council on March 6th, as forwarded to you, just for general review. This is, as some might refer to as a wish list. There's nothing in here that ties us to anything that we must do. It's a purchase of equipment for different departments, some other miscellaneous items. With Radcliffe has been added with the millions of dollars from the different grants, but it's not broken down as far as how that's spent out. But it is putting a number there in place. So right now, the objective is to say, here's our request going in for the next 5 years. And any of these, I believe every single one of these has to come back to the council for review to purchase. So this is nothing more than saying, here's what we'd like to do, but no guarantee we're going to do any of this at this point. But by law, we have to actually bring this to a public hearing for discussion.
Okay, thank you. I will open now the public hearing, and this is only on the 23-24 5-year capital improvement plan. Does anybody have any comments on this? Again, anybody else have any comments? All right, I will close off the public hearing. Item 12, consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
I move to approve the consent agenda items A1 through 4 as presented.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any discussion from table?
Mayor?
Councilmember Lynch.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Santu for his many, many, many years on the DDA. He has served us well and just always been a very active part of our community and always looking out for the best of our community.
I think at the last meeting, he said somewhere around 35 years, but he
That
wasn't
makes-
sure.
That makes sense to me.
One of the originals.
Yes.
Okay, any further comment from the table? From the general public? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, on to the action items. Item B1.
Mayor,
Councilmember Earl.
I move to approve the proposed 5-year capital improvement plan, CIP, for the fiscal year of 2023-2024, as presented.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. Discussion from the table. From the general public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 2, proposed rezoning. This is a lot, I'll let Mr. Ortega explain it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Good evening, council members. Before you tonight is a request to rezone 30712 Pardo Avenue from R1, single-family residential, to a conditional R3, multiple-family residential. The applicant is currently the property owner and recently purchased the vacant photo building that is directly north of this site, right at the corner of Ford and Shatka. They purchased that building, They renovated the entire building and the parking lot so that now there are now 9 fully furnished new apartments in that building, and there are commercial units that are now completely occupied in that building. We just approved the final C of O for a hair salon into that building. So now the applicant has purchased the property to this directly south of this site to the south of the alley. It's currently occupied by a vacant single-family structure. So the property owner has requested to conditionally rezone the property. A conditional rezoning agreement would be signed by the property owner and the city, which would be legally binding to allow for the site to be developed for up to 12 townhouse-style units with a design that is consistent with the submitted plot plan and rendering. At its March 9th meeting, the Planning Commission held a public hearing, considered all the issues, and ultimately is recommending approval, is ultimately recommending that City Council approve the proposed conditional rezoning. Some issues that they deemed warranted a favorable recommendation of this rezoning was the fact that it is consistent with the master plan of the city. The master plan proposes, and one of the guiding objectives is to create a new style of housing units. So this would be a townhouse-style unit, and something that's kind of unique and hasn't yet been developed in the city. It's developed throughout the Metro Detroit region, but we just haven't seen any of these type of units yet developed in Garden City. And it's also, they also deem that the residential style of this building is more appropriate than some of the other multifamily buildings that are located up and down Pardo Avenue. If you, between Merriman and and going eastward, there are other existing multifamily buildings, but they're more conventional in character. This building would be proposed to, the Planning Commission felt by its proposed style with peaked roofs, front doors for every unit, and the fact that it's going to be fronting on Pardo. It won't have a parking lot between the building and Pardo. The parking lot will be to the rear. And so they felt that warranted a recommendation. And then finally, the fact that the existing single-family home is a condemned house. It was condemned in 2021. The city tried to work with the previous property owner, but the previous property owner either, for whatever circumstances, didn't have the wherewithal to just demolish the building. So the city actually took its efforts to begin the demolition process. We actually commended in 2022, began the procedures until the point in time that the property was purchased by the current property owner. They submitted the application for rezoning, and so they would like to now develop it as proposed. So before you tonight is the option to either approve this rezoning conditionally, it would, and with the understanding that the draft agreement in front of you will still be further reviewed by the city attorneys and then eventually signed. The other alternative would be to deny the rezoning. Just be aware that if the rezoning is denied, then the site cannot be rezoned, and the city cannot receive an application for 1 year. It would have to remain single-family residential for 1 year if it's denied tonight. And then further, if you so choose, there's a probability of possibly tabling this for further consideration. With that, I will take any questions you may have.
Councilmember Karafotis.
Can you explain conditional?
Yes, so a traditional rezoning agreement, a traditional rezoning application is when a site is going from one district to another, and if that is approved, the property owner then has the legal right to develop the site in any of the permitted listed uses of that district. So in this case, anything else that's associated with a permitted use in the R3, if they went for R3 traditional, it would only be, they would do that various types of uses. They could also apply for special land use. They would have to go through the process where there would be other uses that they could develop on that building with a straight traditional rezoning. With the conditional rezoning, the applicant specifies right up front that they're only going to develop the property for one particular type of use. In this case, it's the townhouse-style development for up to 12 units. And with this conditional rezoning, you have the agreement that once again is legally binding. And another key aspect of the conditional rezoning is that if for some reason this site is never developed as proposed by the property owner, then the property reverts back to its original zoning of R1. So the agreement and the fact that it's up front, you know what is going to be developed is the key difference.
Okay. I also was reading through our master plan, and I saw a section that talks about multi-residential, that we should only allow 12 to 17 units on a 1 acre lot. This is less than a half an acre, and we're going to put 12 units on a half.
So that is part of the conditional rezoning process in which the applicant is proposing specific characteristics of this use. So they are proposing to have up to 12 units on this property, and the idea being that by being able to create up to 12 units, then they would have a higher quality of development. The type of units proposed, the type of style proposed, because we don't have any multifamily residential design standards. In theory, the applicant, if it was developed as a standard apartment, then they would not have any design requirements for that building. It could be a standard square. It could even have precast concrete as the walls, that kind of thing.
Right, but I thought we were talking about following our master plan, so if we've already said in the past that we shouldn't be putting 12 units on 1 acre, now we're thinking of putting 12 units on less than a half an acre. It just seems the intense amount of people on that small of a space is a lot.
So that's part of the negotiation process, not negotiation, but the conditional process. And it's something that it's a condition placed in front of you, and if it's something that you feel isn't appropriate or isn't acceptable, then you can vote in that direction. But the intent is to have have them propose these conditions and see if the community feels that that's appropriate or not. So
Okay, and then the other conditions are that the setbacks are changed?
That is correct. One of the conditions listed is including with the plot plan proposed, and they are proposing, rather than the 30-foot front yard setback on Pardo, it would be 27 feet. And then rather than having 20-foot setbacks to the east and west, they're proposing 10-foot setbacks.
So
that is another factor to consider into, the fact that they're, rather than a standard development meeting all of our required setbacks, they are requesting this modification.
So they're required to put in sidewalks just like any new build?
Correct.
So if you have 3 feet from the street, a sidewalk that's 3 or 4 feet, and then it'd be 3 feet to when the building starts?
No, because the sidewalk is located in the public right-of-way, so the sidewalk is located 1 foot inside the street side from the property line. The building would be located 27 feet from the property line, so 27 feet from 1 foot inside the sidewalk, so 28 foot.
Okay, but on the side where it's only 10 feet, so it's
Correct. On the side, there's only 10 feet. The building would be 10 feet from 1 foot inside the sidewalk, so 11 feet.
9 feet from the sidewalk.
11 feet from the sidewalk, yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
totally lost what I was going to ask him. Oh, are these proposed to be rental properties, or will these townhouses be sold?
To the best of my knowledge, they would be rentals at this time, yes.
They would be rentals? Mayor?
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
I want to make a motion to actually deny this proposed zoning ordinance amendment to rezone the lot at the northwest corner of Pardo and Shatka from R1 to conditional R3.
Support.
There are just too many issues with what's there, things that aren't being considered. One of them is this density issue.
It is, just to reiterate, it is a factor of the request, and that is something you can consider with regards to that.
But once it's approved,
That is correct.
so
Support.
Okay, that's to deny. Can they make a motion to, they can make a motion to deny, can't they?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. The
So-
only issue is that then the property would not be developed for anything other than single-family for 1 year.
But he could put single-family on there, correct?
Yeah, in theory, yeah. Because, absolutely, because it's currently zoned R1, so that's permitted by use. So, yeah, a single-family home could be constructed on the site.
Mayor, I'd also like to say that Councilwoman Dole and myself went to that neighborhood yesterday. We walked down the block, we knocked on everyone's door and asked for their opinion, and not one resident on that block likes this idea. I'm sure they would have something to say today, but not one of them agreed that they thought they would want 12 townhouses across the street from them, where their block is just all single-family homes.
Wow.
And just to reiterate, the public hearing review process did require us to send 300-foot notices to those residents. Some of them did come to
They
the
did
planning
come to the
commission
planning
meeting, you
commission.
have the minutes. Some of them were in favor, some of them were not sure. But I believe that then they had an opportunity, just so you know, they had an opportunity to look at the plot plan. So
Right.
I don't know if they had any other additional
Mayor.
requests. since
Also,
then, but-
our zoning chairperson and our planning chairperson also voted no for this.
Any other comments from the table?
I would be concerned with parking for that many units. It just seems like it might be too large for that area.
And Mayor, there is also something in here where they're asking for a variance on the additional 5 parking spaces that they would require for guest parking. So that would mean that any guests to these townhouses would be using street parking. So,
Which is allowed.
well, but to our ordinance, they are
They have
supposed to
to
allow these
have- I
additional
thought they
5
hadn't-
spaces.
At the planning commission, didn't they have enough parking on site?
Well, the current zoning ordinance does require 2 parking spaces for individual unit, plus a fifth of a parking space for each unit for guest parking. So with these number of units, they would be required to have 5 guest parking spaces, and they are requesting that as a condition of approval to not provide those 5 parking spaces. I believe the applicant was considering the fact that they own the property to the north, but it is correct that those 5 parking spaces are required by ordinance, and they're requesting not to have them.
Mayor.
Councilmember Earl.
So these are a couple of the issues that I have. A, it's a big building. There's going to be a lot of people. If you talk 12, you're talking, it could be 24 vehicles, right? It could be a lot of vehicles.
Right.
I just think it's too big for that small area. I do love what they've done with that. They took that eyesore of building with the photo and they turned it into a beautiful building, and I really appreciate that. It looks incredible. I just think that this is too big. I have concerns about not just the size, but the parking. So that's the issue that I have, and I couldn't support this just because of that. And so I wish, I do know that people have contacted me that they're not too big of in favor of being in that area. And I get it, I'd love to see that one house get torn down. It's gonna have to get torn down anyways, either way. But my problem is the size, 12 townhouses is way too big for that area. I do like the thought of, us looking towards other ways of just not having apartment complexes, something that looks a little bit better. It's just the size and that location there.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Councilmember Lynch.
I like the idea of having something there with multiple units. Again, my whole thing was the 12. That number 12 is just too many on too small of a piece of property. I don't know if there's an opportunity to, instead of voting it down, to table it for a later date and maybe negotiate to see if the owner of the property would size it down, because that would be less vehicles and not as tight of quarters as is there. I'd rather see that happen than to say no, and then a year has to pass before something could come back to us.
Excuse me, if you'd like to have that as an option, It is possible if you were to table it rather than have it denied. Tabling it would then just require that the applicant would actually, it technically would be a reapplication, but they would have the opportunity to adjust their conditions they're proposing, given the information here tonight. So they could consider that again, if it were tabled. And I believe that property owner, if you have any questions for them directly, they might indicate, why certain issues you have and concerns you might have.
And I think it's just the density that is the biggest problem there, because density comes with the number of people in a half-acre site, the number of cars, everything having to do with that. So that would be my thought process, and I leave it up to the rest of council.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
do you, off of your proposal, what's the actual square footage per unit?
Well, we're trying to stay right around 1,000. We don't want to make it too small, because these are going to be actually, it's like a house. It's basically a one-unit building. It's not 12, but divided into 12. So if you look at it, it's a building that's one unit. Then we divide it into 12 units, 12 separate addresses. And we want to keep it around 1,000 plus for a resale value, because people don't want to move into a house that's 800 square foot. You want to keep it up there. And to get that design perfected and the modern style look, you have to have a little bit big. So we're planning on 2 bedrooms at least on top, having a family room, 1.5 bath, walk out to Pardo and walk out to the parking lot. So it'll be like 6 facing Pardo or 6 facing the parking lot. So to answer your question, it will be, I mean, we can probably make it a little bit smaller. I mean, we can work with Mario on that. And I'm sorry, I was gonna go back to your question, that it is too big and it's 12 units. When people think about 12 units, they think, oh, there's 12 homes going on a small lot that's half an acre. It's actually one building that could fit perfectly if we get the zoning approved with the setbacks, I mean, it is possible to go to 10 units, which will be better. I mean, it's less costly, but it doesn't make that much economical sense for someone to develop a property. He wants to get the density, but I'm not asking for the moon. So we just want to get rid of that house that's sitting there forever, and it just been getting so many complaints from the ordinance department and all that. So we want to take that out of the way and start this year as soon as possible. So if you guys any suggestion, I mean, we'll be willing to work with this, and we work the plan however you want it to be done. But I can't just go build one house down there. I might as well just turn it into a parking lot, because the cost is like too much. The question was, is it going to be rental? The reason it's going to be rental because the current market in Garden City specifically does not support a $250,000 home that's 1,000 square foot, and we all know that. We're moving towards that way if we start building modern style homes. I'm a real estate professional, I'm a broker, I've been doing this for 25 years. I pulled all the comps in Garden City. The highest sold home is $300,000. Still on the market, actually, it's not sold. That's a brand new build. The guy's having a hard time. And the reason, because we have not created that trend of comps. You sell a house right now for 200, the next one comes to this one, that's how they appraise them. So we want to get there, and I'm trying to do that. We did that in Dearborn Heights. They have $2 million homes in Dearborn Heights. Why? It's not a better city. I lived there. My wife used to live here. So we want to get there. So we're trying to do this. If you approve this, we can rework the building to shrink it a little bit, just to make it fit. We're not trying to create more traffic, and we don't want to build an apartment building like all these buildings on Pardo. I mean, they're run down, they're old. I know we're not looking for that. So this will complement the building that we have on Ford Road. We have the alley in between. We have 2 parking lots, so we can work off of each other. I have 30 parking spots up front, and I think all I need is 18 for that apartment building. Not even, because I have 6 2-bedrooms. They need 12, and I have, 3. So I need 18.
And 2 stores, right?
Yeah, so I have extra 12 in the front. I have extra 12 parking spots in the building that's on Ford Road.
Does that include the two retail stores that are in that?
Two retail stores, they have the parking, the street parking that's already built in that way. They have 4 spots over there right on Chotka. Yeah. So I have 12 extra. We can work off of that. If I can scale this down to 10 units, okay, instead of 12, so all I need is 20 parking spots. I'm gonna have 24, then I'm gonna have 12 extra over here at the apartment building. That puts me way above.
I just think one of my concerns was, we're talking about one building. If someone came to the city and said, I have this lot, I want to put one big house on it, and I want you to make a variance so I can build it 10 feet from the curb, we wouldn't even consider it. We would say no.
It would go before the planning commission. What I'm looking at is, with the 10 townhouses, the taxes right now are being paid at $3,800 a year with that one vacant house. With 10, it'd be somewhere around $32,000 that would come
Actually,
into
a little bit more, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
because
approximate.
The millage rate is about 76 here. So if you take 12,000
approximate.
square feet, and this is an investment of close to $2 million that's coming into the city. I mean, the assessed value is going to be about $2 million. The taxable value is $1 million or $900. Take that times 0.76. I'm going to be paying $75,000 a year in taxes on this property. Does it make economical sense? Maybe I'm crazy, but you know what? I'll do it if it looks good. It's going to generate income. I'm going to do it, and we'll probably be selling those properties within the next 2 years, individually.
At 10 townhouses, since it's allowed with our master plan, and if we deny it, it's going to be a year of sitting there with a vacant
But we can
vacant
table it
property.
then.
10
Right.
is not allowed.
10 is not allowed. It's 12 to 17 per 1 acre.
No, it's up to 12, well,
12 per 1 acre, so that
But the
means
con-
6
but
for a
the-
half an acre.
but the motion is, or the request is for up to 12 on a conditional.
So he would be
Conditional.
able to create 6 to 8.
So I wouldn't be opposed to tabling it, waiting for it to go back to the planning commission with 10 units. Hopefully, more commissioners will be there for the meeting, because there were only 4
Yeah,
present,
yes.
3 voted yes, 1 voted no.
That's right.
So, I mean, I would like to get a bigger vote from that commission, and then the 10 units to hopefully shrink the size a little bit to fit on the property. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Again, we're talking about the master plan. Our master plan says 12 to 17 per acre. This is less than a half acre lot, so that means 6. It doesn't mean 10. We're talking about following the rules, so then let's follow the rules. We can't quote some of the rules from master plan, but not the rest of them. I love that you're here to develop our city, and I don't want to say no.
It is my city.
I
It's actually my
want
wife's
you to come into
fault.
Garden
She
City.
grew up on Merriman, and she wants to
I
come
want
back
you to
here.
come in here and say,
Okay.
I'll put in 10 apartment complexes, but when someone's living across the street and they see 4 other vacant lots on Ford Road, they're saying, why aren't they putting them there? And there's a lot right next to your lot that's been vacant for 20 years. That would be wonderful if those were there. You know, we're talking about in the resident or in a busier area that it would fit better. That's just my personal opinion.
Going back to the master plan, I mean, I spent 5 years in Dearborn Heights on the planning commission. I did all these projects, Starbucks and all these new developments on Ford Road. I just retired from there. When you say retired, like you were getting paid, I wasn't getting paid. I was just doing community work. So, the master plan, you know, there are some apartment buildings there. So, the proposed use, if I was coming in with a proposed apartment building, it's consistent with the use on the same street, you know? But I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for townhouses, you know? I could simply ask for an apartment building and just stack it up and put whatever units on there. Then the master plan will say, hey, it's consistent, and we'll go through the legal motion, we get it approved. I don't want to go through that route. I want to get rid of the old home. I want to build at least 10, make it nice so we can control both of them. We have good rental property on the front. I have great tenants, You know, they're all professionals. I have nurses, I have people that work for the post office. I didn't pick up any bad tenants, and don't mind me for saying that. I've been doing this 25 years and I see it all, okay? They're good till they stop paying, so, but they're good. So that's what I'm planning to do. I'm bringing some good base residents to the city, then probably, we don't know where the market's going right now. I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen within the next 2 years. So within the next 2 years, we are planning on selling these individually and finally probably retiring. So there will be single-family homes, homestead in the city.
Okay. Hold on. Any other comments from the table?
Well, one last comment from me is that, again, we did talk to the people that live there, and that's one of the reasons why I ran for this seat, to speak for the residents in this city, and that is what I'm going to do. So I don't think that, and again, I love that you want to come in and develop things here. However, it's just not the right property to do this on. The people that have lived there for 10, 20, 30-plus years right across from this. And we're going to them, and they're saying absolutely not. One of them told us they would put their house up for sale. So how is that protecting our residents? It's not.
Okay.
Well, we also had people on the planning commission, where they had the public meeting, and they were voting for it, and they said, we'd love to have that on our street. We don't want to see that house anymore. And I'm like, okay, so we have
At the planning
both sides.
commission meeting, you had that?
Yes, yes, it's all on record.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any comments from the general public? Come on up, you have 3 minutes. State your name, please, and your street.
My name is William Brown. I live at 30749 Pardo, across and adjacent one house from his property. And I just want to say too, I appreciate you coming into Garden City. I appreciate what you did with that building. It looks beautiful. But just number-wise, you said it's 12 units, up to 12 units for 1 acre. Now we're looking at a half acre, okay? So say we're down to 6 units. My house is roughly 1,000 square feet, pretty much the same as every other house near me. We're looking at him putting up a 6,000 square foot property right across from a house that's 1,000 square feet. I've lived there 40-plus years. We got apartments at that end, we got apartments at that end, and I'm telling you right now, the biggest issue is traffic. I got grandkids that live with me. We got young kids throughout the whole neighborhood, little kids. And the last thing I want to do is see somebody run over, and I'm not saying it'll happen, I hope it doesn't ever happen. But we don't need that traffic. If he was to put up 2 houses on that property, I'd be, yeah, all right, let's go for it. Thank you. But to put up 10, you know, he's saying minimum 10 townhouses, and I'm sure they're gonna be beautiful, his plans, I'm sure they are, but it's not the property, it's a 2-lot, small 2 lots, to put up what we're talking is like 6,000 to 10,000, 12,000 square foot property. It's just not the space for it. So,
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure I'm talking for a lot of my neighbors too, so,
Okay,
you know.
Thank you.
I do want to say to him again, thank you for what you're doing to Garden City. I appreciate it. I've lived here my whole life. I'd love to see all these vacant properties, Kmart, the dealership, you know, let's build up big units there, you know, and sell them to people, but
okay,
in the resident,
thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I live directly across the street, 30711 Pardo.
What's your name, please?
Tracy Carrico. So we purchased that house 10 years ago. It was our first family home. My kids have grown up there. I have a child going into the middle school. I have one going into the high school. And the last thing I want to do is walk out my front door into somebody else's home, or 12 of them. Traffic, we like to have our family over for occasions. Where does my family park? I live on a corner lot. I don't want to sell my home that we worked so hard for to raise our children in, because we aren't comfortable in our space anymore with 24, 30, 50 people that can fit in that building across the street. I just can't do it. So if that is the option, I will take the money I was going to put into my home this year, and I will put my home up for sale.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am, come on up.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Diane Hackman. I live at 30737 Pardo, and this would be affecting my home too. I've lived there 40 years. We all have small kids or grandkids that come over all the time, and he's correct. Your building is very lovely on Ford Road, but we just don't want something like that across from our homes. I mean, even in snow emergency, there's no place to park. So that's another consideration, where all these cars gonna be. Also, how's that gonna affect us as homeowners for our home values? Because nobody's gonna wanna move across from a big Goliath thing. You know, I know that house has been there forever, sitting on that property, and it's just part of, you know, we just know it's there. It's fields all around it, there's a lot of, you know, different life, little birds and stuff that live there, so it's lovely to look at. If the house gets knocked down, great, but I think residential homes should go there instead. It's just gonna be too much for our little block for all these people coming and going. So, that's what I wanted to say. And I understand you wanna make a profit, that's great. I give you a lot of kudos. But Ford Road, there's property on Merriman and Ford Road that's been sitting there forever. Someplace like that should be more considered for apartments. So, or townhomes or whatever. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to let you guys know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Hi.
Ray Knoll, 30831 Pardo Street. The proposal sounds great, but I do believe we just don't have the room on that lot for the proposed development, and I'm concerned with the traffic and the congestion that may come from such a large project at that corner. I just don't believe there's enough room to take care of his needs for that, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? I kind of see a hand. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Jean Ward. I live at 30748 Pardo. I have the property that is right next to the property that you're talking about building on. And when we bought the house, we were very excited about the beautiful trees that are going to have to come down if you put that up. And we've got 7 grandkids that run around that property, and we're very disappointed to think that it's possibly going to have an apartment building or a townhouse building with apartments in it. And so we're also thinking about our property value going down and thinking, well, we should just, that's going to go up, we should probably leave. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Jackie Peridor, Belton. I don't live in that neighborhood, but I did have a couple of questions, and I think maybe tabling it might be an option, because if he comes back with another proposal, he might not be asking for all the variances and the different setback requirements. But I did have a concern, if they start as rentals and he can allow parking in his other space, once he sells that to single-family homes, would they still be able to park there? And that would only be able to be an option if he indeed still owns that property. If he ever sells that other property, then those 12 parking spaces may not be able to be used. So whatever happens needs to be independent of each other. You can't count on those other 12 spaces to always be there. So I don't think tabling it's a bad idea, just to see what they come up with, what variances they'll be asking for with a reduced footprint. I don't believe in Garden City. 1, I'm a Realtor. 2, I've lived here almost all my life. If you look in Dearborn, where they're doing the large footprint homes, where there's, 4 inches of grass all the way around the home, I don't think that's something we want in Garden City. We are proud of our garden lots, of our space. So, yes, we need multifamily. Yes, we need condominiums. Yes, we need all those things, but we have to be very careful of what precedent we're going to set. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. The motion on the floor is to deny the zoning change.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, just to provide you with more information, just the last comment, that if this were tabled and we talked about providing parking spaces on other property in the future. That's something that's allowed by the zoning ordinance, but what is required then is that we would require a parking sharing agreement between the two different properties. So therefore, it would be legally binding on the future property owners. So as the current property owner of both pieces, they would have the advantage of crafting that agreement, and it would be something that would run with the land. So if that was a consideration in the future, that's something that can be hammered out during the site plan review process. And the fact that this would be the rezoning is a first process here. The second step would be, if it were to be approved, the second step would be to go to the Planning Commission for site plan approval and discussing some issues such as that. And then just information-wise, in terms of the other vacant properties in the area, the vacant Knights of Columbus property directly to the west, that is actually zoned C2 commercial. And so in the past, this type of development would not be allowed there. And actually, this type of development would still not be allowed there. We have passed a mixed-use overlay district that would allow for apartments above commercial on that piece of property, but that's the only way that residential units could be developed there. In addition, the property located at the corner of Merriman and Ford Road, northeast-west corner, that's zone C3, and so townhouse development is not permitted in that zoning district. It's only a commercial district. So, and the reason I mention that is that right now, one of the aspects of the master plan is to have what's called transitional zoning to protect residences from the higher activity intensity of commercial. The intent is to put multifamily developments between the two. That's why up and down Pardo to the east and west, it's zoned multifamily on the north side of Pardo. Its vast majority of it is developed multifamily, and the intent is to have the level of activity drop off from Ford Road so that the single-family neighborhoods to the north and south can basically be buffered by the developments along Crowder. So that's the policies of the master plan. And then finally, this site is actually master planned for mixed use as well. And mixed use does anticipate even a higher intensity use than just 12 to 16 residential. It's intended to have 12 to 16 residential per acre plus commercial development, because that's the intent of the mixed use. So that's just information from the master plan, so.
Okay, thank you.
I just
Councilmember Lynch.
throw just something in. I like the idea, but not the density of the idea. So if I were to vote no on this, it's because I want it to be tabled rather than denied, because I don't want to see the property sit there for a year and have to wait for a year for it to come back with another plan to use it. But I don't like the density on it.
Would the motion makers like to table it and see if they can come back with something else, or wait for a year and if it doesn't pass? Would you guys be willing to table it?
Honestly, I can't in good conscience do that because I don't see the benefit to the city outweighing what the residents want that live there. I know how I would feel if I was living there. So I will not amend my motion.
Okay. Can we do a roll call, please?
Yes.
And this is
This
to
is a
deny
motion
it.
to deny. The motion maker will be the first to vote, and that is Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Aye.
And then the second to vote is Councilmember Karafotis.
Aye.
Councilmember Witt. Councilmember Earl.
Aye.
Councilmember Lynch.
Nay?
Councilmember Squires.
No.
And then Mayor Jacobs.
No.
It still does carry. This is a 4-3 vote, and it's a supermajority is required. So it is denied.
So it's denied?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3, managerial audit.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Miller.
this is managerial audit is before you. As you can recall, a number of meetings ago, we had a special meeting regarding the managerial audit, and they directed, I was directed by the council to develop a RFP for certain items to look at in the building and the planning department. Some of those items were the certificate of occupancy process for both the residential and business, our application process, in-house versus contractual, inspection process, the time frame for inspections from beginning to end, and procedures for department. So when I developed the RFP, we put it out on BidNet, and part of the RFP, when I developed it, I listed those items, but I broke them out also to give the bidders more information regarding the process that the council is looking for, and also provided to them a list of all of our applications that we use for in the building department. Also, I gave them a form, a flow chart of how the businesses, you can get a business, open it, all the steps for that, our business licensing process. Also, the flow chart and the business licensing has changed since I've come here 4.5 years ago now. And so I put those new items in there for the application process, and also provided some of the budget items for the cost of our contractual versus our in-house, and what those would be also. So we did put that together. We put it out for bid, and on Tuesday, March 14th, we did receive two bidders on the project. One was Maynard Costarian, was $38,850, and the second was Plant Moran from Southfield, Michigan, for $39,000. So I think that the specs were developed, I think, pretty good. Since we got two that were so close together, but we did put it out, and that's what we got. So it's up to the council for our next steps.
Thank you. Motion is in order.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
I move to approve a contract for a managerial audit with Plant Moran in an amount not to exceed $39,000.
Support.
Support by Councilmember Karafotis. Discussion from table.
Just a quick question, Mayor. What is the time frame on this?
I believe I put 6 months in it.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure. I did put a time frame in.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor,
Councilmember Earl.
realistically, this could be more than $39,000, correct?
Yes.
Because if they interview any of Bucelli or any of the outside people, which they'd have to do a thorough one, we're gonna have to pay for them to be interviewed, right?
Correct.
Didn't we ask for an estimate on that in the meeting? When we talked about that?
I don't remember an estimate for the staff. I know that in the RFP, I requested an hourly count for the bidders to give us an hourly fee for work that they deemed outside of our specs.
And that's included in the 39?
That's not included in the 39, so there still could be some additional costs from the bidder, but Bucelli and McKenna, we would pay an hourly rate for them to be interviewed. So,
At which time they would also not be doing what they're supposed to be doing. They'd be doing it during business hours. That we would be paying them above the 39. Any other comments from the table? From the general public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I tell you what, Mr. Miller, can we do another roll call, please?
okay, this was a motion by Councilmember Dole. She'll be the first to vote.
Aye.
Councilmember Karafotis.
Aye.
Councilmember Witt.
Nay.
Councilmember Earl.
Nay.
Councilmember Lynch.
Nay.
Councilmember Squires.
Nay.
Mayor Jacobs.
Nay.
The motion does fail by a 2-5 vote.
Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Karafotis.
So this is something that was in our charter, that we're required to do a managerial audit every 5 years, and we haven't done one in 13 years. So what do we do now? Are we,
I would say we would probably have another workshop and pick probably another department. It
can it
doesn't,
just be less?
That's my issue, is this $40,000 is not gonna come up with anything that's gonna save us $40,000 for the city. So if we had something a little smaller, I'd be okay with it, but that's just too much money for it. And I get why it's so much money, that's a big project.
Right, I mean, we paid $13,000 13 years ago, so seeing 13 years later, it's only 40. I mean, that's pretty much inflation.
okay.
So that's the plan, another workshop?
I would imagine that's what we'll have to set up. If that's,
We have a couple of budget workshops coming up in April here, and maybe able to add it on to the agenda for discussion.
okay, Councilman, item 4, citywide garage sale.
Yes, Ms. Bone.
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve, wait a minute, the suspension of Chapter 112.60 garage sales and waive all fees for a citywide garage sale event from June 22nd through 25th, 2023.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Discussion from the table.
It's a fantastic idea.
I think it's a great idea.
I
Okay.
know we got an email right after the election that was asking for us to do this, and I'm glad we're actually getting something like that done for our residents.
Any comments from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 5 is to call for a public hearing. And this is on the tax levy ordinance. Mr. Miller, or?
This is to just have a call for the public hearing, so we don't have any information at this time, but this will be the, for the tax levy and our millage.
Okay. Motion is in order. Councilmember Squires.
I move to introduce the fiscal year 2023-24 general appropriations and tax levy ordinance and call for a public hearing on Monday, May 8th, 2023 at 7 p.m.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Earl. No discussion, since there's nothing to discuss. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 6 is another public hearing on our water and sewer rates.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch, I believe.
I move to introduce and call for a public hearing on the 2023-24 water and sewer rate ordinance to be held on Monday, May 8th, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Witt. Again, it's just calling for a public hearing, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 13, other business, there is none. Item 14, public comment. This is a time, we'll give you, you get 3 minutes, and it's not time for back and forth discussion, and it's for things not on the agenda. Anybody wishing to speak? Mr. Molnar.
Yeah, I need to call the hospital and tell them I can't handle 2 getaways in one time over there. Happened again today. One walking in the middle of Inkster Road, one woman running all over the place barefooted, half dressed. The other guy out in the middle of Inkster Road staggering around. I can only handle one at a time, so give them a call and tell them one at a time. And that's, I'm trying to understand some of this stuff y'all doing up here. I wish you'd, council at the time, you were the only one there, Miss Lynch. We were taking a little time on my parking over there. I'm on the corner of Inkster and Elmwood. They widened the road out to major roads. Of course, they didn't turn it in, so they didn't get no major road funding. And I don't know, still don't know why you widened it out. You made the hospital put in not y'all, the council then, made the hospital put in a driveway there right off of Inkster Road. That's nothing but a nightmare, especially for me. Now I'm trying to look 3 different ways when I back out. And when that road does get done, I'd like to see it come back down to the original local street. There's no need for that road to be a major road. You can't come out of that parking lot and turn left and right at the same time. The road just ain't wide enough. and I'm getting sick and tired of trying to get that road fixed. The guys come out and patch it. 2 or 3 days later, you look around the patch, the concrete's all crumbling around. Sidewalk is still flooded, Mayor. You people better fix your sidewalk. First person that falls, I'm sending them over here with their lawyer. I'm tired of it. It's nothing but a big puddle, and in the wintertime, it turns to a solid sheet of ice. Tried to tell you then, but I'm just a stupid old hillbilly. I didn't know no better. Anybody with any sense could look at the road and see it's higher than the sidewalk. I get so damn tired of this crap. I'm sick of it all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Hunt?
First of all, Mayor, from our last storm when dealing with DTE, thank you. My wife thanks you. Man actually come by our house after DTE told him that we had power back to make sure we actually had power back, because he's dealt with DTE enough times to know that they do nothing but want to lie to you. To go back a little bit on DTE, back in June, Doc got a hold of him for me on Davies had already come through and taken care of clearing branches and things in the backyard. They left a great big one back there that's got a line stretched beyond belief. I talked to Doc another time. He emails them right back. They call me back. They show up. Been out 5 times. Denied every time. Oh, we have nothing to do with that. We're not going to take care of that. They've spent more time denying than it would have taken to take this one tree branch down out of there to relieve the pressure off the lines, but they don't seem to want to do it. Just want to bring to your attention, if you didn't see it today in the News Free Press, take a look at it from DTE. Back in 2018, they gave $840,000 to our politicians up there in Lansing so that they can get their rates approved. $320,000 to Progressive Advocacy Trust. $80,000 to Michigan Transition to help Governor Whitmer move into her office. Our senator, along with, I'm not calling out our senator for it because they seem to be doling out like crazy. Our senator got $4,700 from them, all for the governor to appoint the people that are going to decide how much we pay for our electricity. And every time they want a rate increase, they seem to get it, and we get nothing. I'd like to see our city band together with all the other ones and hold their feet to the fire. We can be out without power for a week. Here's your $35. You lost everything in your freezer and your refrigerator. You had to go out to eat. And if you do have a generator, it's eating about $40 worth of gas a day. Here's your $35. Yet they can spend millions up in Lansing to make sure that they get all of their rate increases. Take a look at that article, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I'm with the library. We're very excited to announce that we have entered our 100 years of service. So we've been going from 1923 to 2023. We have merch at the library. We have these brand new shirts and these amazing tote bags that our Friends President, Caitlin Perry, designed. It's a $15 donation to the Friends of the Library for either one. We also have these really nifty library cards that say our 100 years of service. If you already have a card, they are a $1 fee. If you don't have a card, you can come up and get a brand new one. Has a little thing, goes on your keychain, very nice. But we're just happy to announce we got some stuff. So come up to the library and donate your money.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Kendall. I'm with the Wayne State University AmeriCorps Urban Safety Program, and I am the project manager for our water filter education program. Our program has been around for about 13 years now, serving the Metro Detroit area in encouraging health and safety. We do that in a number of ways. But specifically, we have an ongoing water filter education program that serves to educate residents about the potential hazards of lead contamination within their home and can provide a free lead-reducing water filter to eligible households, basically households that have anybody under the age of 18 who lives there, who regularly visits there, or there's a pregnant person in the home. We have brought this program to a number of local communities, including Wayne, Inkster, Dearborn Heights, East Point, Harper Woods, Melvindale, a lot. We're also heading into a few more. So basically what we do with this program is we canvass door to door. We have teams of AmeriCorps members coming out, do a little door knock, leave a leaflet, or complete a survey with a resident, and then we actually distribute filters either in the moment or we deliver them. We might also be doing this by phone survey, just follow up with certain households. So again, this is at no cost to residents. We just look forward to bringing it to the residents of Garden City so that households may have just some additional resources at hand. So I just wanted to
Is there a way
introduce ourselves.
they can reach out to you?
Absolutely, yes.
Do you have a number?
Yes, so our number is 313-444-9508. We
Okay.
can also be contacted at, by email at AmeriCorpsLead@wayne.edu. That's AmeriCorpsLead@wayne.edu.
Okay, very good. And that's for water filters.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Okay, city managers report.
All right, Mayor, just want to emphasize what you started off the meeting talking about, the Easter egg hunt this Saturday in City Park. Get about 1,000 people attend, just kind of reconstituted just a few years ago. 3 ages from 0 up to 10-year-olds. See those zero-year-olds run around, it's fantastic. 3 age groups, 12,000 eggs. It's a great, quick event. It starts about 9:30 sharp, literally sharp. If you show up at 9:35, you're going to be late. Easter Bunny's down there about 9:15. So 9 o'clock down at City Park, you'll be out of there by 10. So a great event. Thank you.
What if they're 1 day old? They're not a year old, so they... Councilmember Earl.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing, DTE. I've been trying for 3 years now to get them to fix a telephone pole or a power pole up at Cherry Hill and Merriman on Cherry Hill that's bending over one of our businesses up there. They've been out several times and have yet to do anything with it. So,
If you can get me it, I did have a Zoom meeting last week with them for a couple of hours, and they reached out with some phone numbers that we can
okay.
get a
Thank you.
hold of them.
I know that there was a poll by Lucky Duck and by the apartments, and we waited till the last windstorm, and then we took a video of it, and the fire chief sent it in, and they came right out.
We sent
And the-
pictures to them, we've done all that.
Yeah, I mean, you could actually see it moving around in the video, so they came out, and I think it just got changed a week ago. It took about a month and a half, though. Okay.
Councilmember Karafotis.
I just wanted to give a quick little report. Councilwoman Dole and myself went on a 3-day conference to Boston last week. The conference was attended by over 1,900 other city people from across the country, DDA members, council people, city managers, Main Street directors. We both attended different meetings every day. We went to things like grant funding, improving our downtown, going from vacant to vibrant, developmental strategies for building our community, building success with the master plan. We heard a lot of new ideas, and we brought home lots of information that hopefully we can use to improve our community. So I just wanted to say that it was very informative, and it was nice to hear from other community leaders that have cities our size and what they do. So it wasn't just hearing about larger cities. There was a ton of people there from cities that range from 15,000 to 30,000 people. So to hear all their ideas, it was very informative. I also wanted to mention that everybody that helped donate to the fish dinners at St. Thomas the Apostle on Friday, We had our garden club donated flowers from the Wild Iris. The kids at Douglas made cards, and a local resident made dessert. So we were able to give the Meals on Wheels people 63 fish dinners. They all got an Easter card, they all got dessert, and they all got a flower for dinner. So thank you to everybody that helped with that.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Squires.
I don't have much of anything tonight. I just want to wish everyone a very happy Easter and be safe for the holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Just a couple of things. I want to remind everybody that Kiwanis on April 15th will be holding their largest fundraiser, and that is our pig race. Not everybody's fond of our resident pig, but it's a pig race. It's, again, April 15th over at St. Thomas the Apostle. It is, the tickets are $20. It is 21 and over. Doors open at 6 o'clock, so we hope to see everybody there. It's a lot of fun. And kind of want to piggyback off of what Councilmember Lynch said earlier about Mr. Santu. If anybody doesn't know, I was with the DDA from 2010 until November of last year when I retired, and Mr. Santu was fantastic. He was such an asset to our board that I don't think he'll ever be able to be replaced. So thank you to him, and he's going to be missed. Congratulations to the library on 100 years.
Our library.
Although it does concern me a little bit that the children's librarian had to look to go back 100 years.
She's a librarian, not a mathematician. She points it out to me occasionally. I do the words on that.
Happy Easter to everybody. And one last thing, Councilmember Karafotis brought up our conference trip to Boston. I wanted to let everybody know that due to a mistake with the concierge at the hotel, we also conducted an in-depth study of Boston's subway system for 2.5 hours. So it was lots of fun.
So you got lost, right?
All the way to
No,
Connecticut?
we went exactly where he told us to go.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Councilmember Lynch.
Just wanted to wish everyone a wonderful Easter, happy Ramadan for those that are of that persuasion, I guess I'll call it. And there's something else that's going on too, and I can't remember what the third one is, but this is the first year all three happened to coincide at the same time. So happy holidays to everyone, and watch out for the rain this week.
Thank you. Councilmember Witt.
Yes, happy holidays, happy Easter to those who celebrate all of the different ones. I'm stealing Brian's thunder tonight. Come see Oklahoma at the O'Leary Performing Arts Center. We also have one of our cast members in the audience right over here, Julie Galvez. Thank you for doing the pledge for us. The dates are the 27th, 28th, and 29th at 7 p.m. and the 30th at 2 p.m. Tickets are on sale online or at the door. And Kim's granddaughter's in it. But that is all that I have.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Okay, just a couple things. Thank you, Julie, for the Pledge of Allegiance again. Great job. I want to remind everybody, April 12th at 5 o'clock, I will have my mayor's forum. I'll answer questions here. So anybody that wants to, any residents, 5 o'clock, right here. And I want to wish everybody a happy Easter and no further business. This meeting is adjourned.